And welcome to the Tea Party Howdy channel. This is a review of Disney Plus show called Muppets Now, Episode 1, Due Date. So I thought it was going to maybe be about having a baby, but no, it's just about getting the show in on time, which is fine. Okay, so I'm going to start and do a normal review at the beginning, and then on the backside, if you want, I'll give you some comparisons between this Muppet show with prior Muppet shows, because I've been watching the Muppet shows since they first started. And then I will add my perspective on what it's like to be with the Muppets all the way through this, and all the baggage that comes along with it, with Disney owning them again. But first, a straight-ahead review of this particular new version that is available on Disney Plus. Because people are always asking me, what channel is it on? It's like, I don't always know. This one I do know. Okay, and it's actually really relevant to their guest stars. Okay, so it has about 4 sketches. It's 22 minutes long. It has about 4 sketches in it. And they have guest stars in 3 of the 4 of the sketches. One is all Muppets. Let's take a look at who the guest stars are. And we can come over here. Here's our first guest star. Our first one is Tay Diggs. And it looks like Tay Diggs, or Ty, I don't know how to say his name. Looks like he's going to be on the show a lot. Because there it is. He's got a bunch. So he's apparently going to be on the whole season. So he is from the Muppets. Another guest star is this lady, Linda Cardinelli, who apparently played Velma in Scooby-Doo. So that's good for the kids to have a connection to Linda Cardinelli. Because let's face it, in this world that we live in now, being an actual star is really, really hard. Because I kind of never heard of any of these people until I looked them up. And I'm like, oh, okay, I did see her in Scooby. And she's also in the production of Avengers, which is, of course, owned by Disney. So she's in-house. I don't know if this guy is in-house or not. Let's look at the next one. Carlina Will, sorry. And she's doing this cooking sketch, and I'll talk more about that later. And boy, oh boy, is she an in-house Disney. Okay, so she has 1 sketch listed. She was also in Moana as production. And then she was on Zootopia's production. And Cooking with Carlina, where she's the host and the chef. So she's very, very much in-house promotion, which is probably why her sketch is the longest. Okay, and then our final guest of the night is RuPaul, dressed as a man. In case you were wondering, did they do the drag thing? They did not. So if you're not the kind of person that wants your kids to be watching drag things for whatever personal reasons you have, he is not. Do they discuss it? Not in ways that are obvious if you don't know. So the kids will never be able to pick up on it if they don't have a background knowledge. They do have a pig who's quite fond of RuPaul, and it's a male pig, and you can take that for what it's worth. Again, the kids won't pick up on it. They'll just go, that pig's weird. Because the pig is weird. Okay, so now let's review these guests again. You got RuPaul. You've got Carlina Will. You've got Linda Cardellini. And then finally you have Tay Diggs. So if you're going, oh, did Disney go all political with their guest? Did they show all this range of diversity? No, they didn't show any diversity at all. They're all the same color but one. There's no diversity. Nope, they didn't do any diversity at all. Thank God the pig is green, but Miss Piggy's white, so I don't know how that's going to work, because, you know, pork is the other white meat. Okay, so that's the guest stars. Was the show any good? A strange complaint, but it is a complaint. The show, with all the sketches but one, are lit like this. And you'll notice this is really, really bright lighting, particularly for the Muppets. There's one sketch where they do traditional Muppet lighting, and that's the one with the photography where there's no humans. It's all Muppets. All the other ones are very much overly lit for comedy. Comedy's not supposed to be overly lit under most circumstances, but they didn't care. Yeah, so you have to be like a total nerd to catch that it's overlit, but I am, and I did, so probably won't bug you, but it really bugged me. And I thought this was a monkey until the very end of the sketch. Turns out that's a sheep. You do not know that's a sheep by looking at it until the very end. Okay, so the first sketch is with Tay Diggs. or however you say his name. My apologies if I'm pronouncing it wrong. And it's funny, but it's really, you know where it's going the entire sketch. Oh, Scooter's on the intro of the show to make it feel like it's the original Muppet Show. So that's kind of fun. Okay, and then the second sketch is this one, which is not funny at all. The next sketch is the cooking sketch, which is just really is way too long. It's painful. It's not funny. It's actually a cooking sketch. I'm like, what the? Why are you doing an actual cooking sketch? The only thing they didn't show you is how much of the ingredients to do it, but they actually showed you the whole cooking sketch. It's like, it's not funny. They trash Swedish Chef. They insult him more than at least 2 times, maybe 3, and they do go political on that one once or twice. But it's forgivable when it's once or twice. It's when it's in your face that it never stops. It's like, but they don't. But it's there. It's definitely there. Okay, so it's really long. It's really not funny, and it's really a cooking sketch. I'm like, dude, ugh. And then the final sketch is the one with RuPaul, which is also painfully long. Luckily, RuPaul has charisma and makes it kind of interesting to watch. The other people, not really that much charisma going on. No. Okay, so it's not funny. The lighting's weird. If you want to be technical, the lighting's too bright. And that, okay, so is it a good show? No. Sorry. Is it a horrible show? Nope, it's not a horrible show. Okay, so say there's 10 stars. 5.5 to 6. Because it's not horrible, it's just not that fun. Okay, that's the end of that. Now I'm going to get into all the comparisons. Here we go. If you've been watching the Muppets since the beginning, either because you're old enough to do it, or you've watched them on DVD, and you've watched all their movies and all the other stuff, it is completely missing the creativity, the genius of what makes Muppet work. For example, I will quote Frank Oz from one of his interviews on other Muppet things. There's no music in it. They did an entire Muppet Show without a drop of music. Frank Oz was a firm believer, as well as Jim Henson. You have to have music in a Muppet Show. And I don't know if he was saying that because it's a kid show or not. But there's no music in this, and it could have used an upbeat tune or a kooky tune. It really could have used a tune. So there's no music. And that breaks the rules of the Muppets. It's also mentioned earlier at the beginning, it's like, I'm going to get into some of the baggage. I know they fired the guy that does Kermit's voice. And I'm like, Kermit does a good job. The voices do a good job, except for Sam doesn't sound as much like Sam. But the other ones are pretty impressive. But the characters are just... Miss Piggy comes closest. But like the dragon dude that's right next to her, oh, he's not even close to who he was in older shows. They're just using the puppet, and he's like more recent characters, and I miss his original character because he was creepy. No, Janice is not funny, and they just waste her in treating her as the stereotype of Janice instead of the actual character that was Janice. Rosie's apparently a sheep. Who knew? Linda Cardinelli, she's reading a script. She's doing her job. It's just they didn't give her a good script. Okay, so when you compare it to the movies, there's no music. There's no ingenuity. It's just all really, really predictable. Now, going back to the Muppets show, the original Muppet Show, there's a bunch of them that aren't that great either. But they were always trying something new on them, and that's a big deal. They're not trying anything new on this. They're just... And I'm not saying they have to, but for Pete's sakes, why are you hiring all these people from in-house? If you're going to hire everybody from in-house, that means your show's going to come out with the quality of an outhouse. Sorry, I just thought that was appropriate for a Muppet Show joke. Okay. And I don't know what else to say. It's like, am I going to keep watching it? Yeah. Oh, comparing it to the last Muppet Show. The last one was done as a reality show, and it was weird, but I liked it. I mean, they had a lot more jokes, and the creativity on that one was it was there. When Kermit's driving on the freeway, And you see all these humans drive by, and then you see a Muppet drive by. That was freaking funny. I'm like, wow, that was creative. That was really, really cool. Yeah, there's nothing like that in this. Nope. There's nothing to watch in the background. It's like, oh, how cute. There's this segment, the All Muppet one on the photobombing. Oh my god. Besides the fact that Kermit's pronouncing it wrong, like he's gone all Hollywood, when Kermit is the last frog in America that should be going all Hollywood. That's what makes Kermit awesome, is that he's not gone all Hollywood. And everything he does in this episode is all Hollywood. It's just like, ugh, at least Scooter's the same for the 15 seconds he's on screen. If you were hooked up to the Muppet website, you'll notice the graphics match a large era of the Muppet website. I don't know if it's still there. I haven't been back in a while, but I did notice, oh, they borrowed a lot from that. So that's kind of cool for them. It's a good inside thing for them. So I'm going to watch it because it's the Muppets, and I've watched the rest. I think the most fun Muppets of post-Jim Henson were the ones called Muppets Tonight, which was the one where they had the Rastafarian puppet. He was really good, and that didn't do very well either. I can't imagine this one being the breakthrough, and it's going to do well. It's not funny. Why would a kid care about a cooking segment? Why would a grown-up care about a cooking segment that's not going to actually show you the amounts, even though they're spending the time to put it all together? Who is that a target for? It's not. It's a commercial for that woman who works for Disney to promote her Disney Plus show. And it's really obvious. It's serving the purpose of what talk shows are, because talk shows are just commercials for booksellers and TV shows and everything. And the Muppet Show was not, and is not until now, supposed to be a commercial for other shows, but you put it in the hands of Disney and this is the garbage you get. So at least the last one was funny, and the Muppets Tonight was really good, and not good enough because they haven't found, when Disney owns them, they haven't found what the magic is. Well, first of all, take the baby step formula of put some music in. Do some creative music. Have a singer on there. It doesn't, Rita Moreno was on the original, and they had lots of olden days ones and lots of new ones. Mix it up. It's all good. And for Pete's sakes, don't just hire from in-house. Please don't just hire from in-house. It's so tacky. There's okay from hiring from in-house, but not exclusively. Blah. All right. That's the end of that review. The other ones will be shorter because I've already covered all the background territory. So, until then, we'll see you in the future.